Welcome back to my freezing workshop. It's about -4 outside. It's quite cold here. We don't normally get those sort of temperatures. Anyway, welcome back. It's good to see you again. And you might want to pour yourself a beer or a cup of tea or even a coffee if you're that way inclined. There's quite a lot in this video, so we do some more on the ducting, which you can see that isn't quite finished at the moment. I make a little IT cabinet in the corner there. And down here by the door is a box for the light switches and things that are going to go in. So I'm making those. I've moved my pillar drill down here finally, and I made a fence for the Mitre station. So pour yourself a drink, buckle up, and we'll see you after the titles. I didn't film much of this, but I did install all the under panels for the trunking. This is the dust extraction hose that goes from the CNC router all the way over to the dust extractor you can see in the left of shot. Right. Give them a go. Once you've pulled your drawstring through with a hoover, or a vacuum I should say, I want it to reach to there. So just beyond that I've tied a little knot. That will tell me when I pull it through when I've got enough cable. This is much easier when you've got two people, one on either end. There we go. Right, that's enough. Now I can tie my cable that I want to draw through to that. I know what you're saying, this is a complicated way of doing it, and yes it is. I put that in to get it started around the corner. You may think that's a long-winded way of going about it, but the theory is by pulling twice the length of draw wire through that you need, you can leave the last section of draw wire in the tube. I pulled too hard, it came all the way through, so bugger. I'll have to put that back in, but I'll do that off camera because it's a palaver. I used the fence here to get the saw square to the wall. I'm using these screw-in threaded inserts. I'm going to use quite a lot of these over the course of this build. I like the idea of being able to screw stuff down and take it off really easily. Right, I've brought you down low to show you that by design, oddly enough, for most of the stuff I do, by design, the saw is below the level of the table, and what I'm going to do is put shims underneath the feet that will bring it up so it's absolutely level. So what I need to do is measure the distance under here with some gauge blocks, and then bring this saw up so that it's flat across the whole piece. So I'll have to do that on the lathe. Right, the next step is to use this straight piece of alley angle that I've had for a long time. No, we'll go the other way. We'll go that way. Right, put that to there. There we go. Now I should just be able to punch straight through, put some screws in to hold it down, and it's done. As I didn't explain that on camera, I'll tell you in a voiceover. The whole point of doing this is to get the fence so it's perfectly in line with the fence on the saw. Now this won't be square that way, but it will be square that way. So let's just check it out and see what happens. There we go. Right. Pretty damn square to me. Measure that. 9mm. These spacers, I think I made them out of aluminium if I remember rightly, and I just hacked them out really quickly on the lathe, so I didn't really film much of it. There didn't seem to be much point. Try. Yep, spot on. Yep. Spot on. Click. This saw has little rubber feet on the bottom, so you can compress them, which gives you a little bit of extra leeway when it comes to getting it absolutely flat here. Zero. $90. Apologies for Timmy the tumble dryer next door, but I did clean this once, so this has been off here in the last 20 years, but only once. If I remember rightly, it's bloody heavy. Oh yes, definitely heavy. God, that was easy. God, blimey. God. That is heavy. This drill was never the best of quality, but I have to say that it stood the test of time. I've drilled tens of thousands of holes with it over the last 20 years. That doesn't sound very good. That might just be the centrifugal switch in the motor, but that intermediate shaft or bearing that's knackered. That needs fixing, and there's a lot of play in the front end. Quick, get the lid shut and move on before anybody notices. If you hadn't guessed, I'm routing out a rebate in the back of this so that I can fit a back panel. Yeah, good enough. Square. That's very nearly square, and that says it's square. I used these soft aluminium countersunk rivets to join this piano hinge onto the front fascia of my little switch box, and I'm the first to admit I made a pretty poor job of it, but yeah, it is what it is, as they say, so sod it, move on. I don't think I recorded it anywhere in this video, but you will probably notice that there's a hardwood lipping around the front edge of this this panel, I should say, to make it look much nicer. I nearly got it on square as well. Right, I cut the wrong section out for the cable access into this box, so I've had to extend it, which I didn't want to do, but there you go. So this is the back panel, which I shall glue on. These pins, I found these pins, panel pins, in a cupboard when we bought this house 25 years ago. So it just shows you, don't throw anything away, you never know when it will be useful. I'll just temporarily fit this lid, but that's good enough. Let's try it. And it's going to fit a bit lower than this on there with on switches and off switches, and and my bag of push switches and these little son-off devices. I'm quite a fan of my little biscuit joiner. I do think the hobnobs are the best. If I can't cut things out really accurately with a jigsaw, then I'll cut them oversize and then take them to the table saw. It's so much easier to work at a decent height, and trimming these up perfectly is easy. I thought it was going to be years before I needed this hinge jig again, and blow me, it's taken less than a month. Yep, cock on. Given the choice, I would have preferred to have cut this acrylic on my laser cutter. However, my laser cutter is kaputting, so that's a future project. Looking good. IT switch. CCTV. Alarm. Right in the back. And finally, my NAS server. There we go. All in a little IT cabinet. With a perspex door. Buy that. I don't know what you guys think, but these Erbera tools, if that's the way you pronounce it, I've found I haven't had a duff tool with an Erbera brand on it. Time will tell. There we go. That's better.
Don't put that in the video. That horrible look you definitely just gave me.
My son, bless him, didn't want to be on camera, so he's hiding in the background. Right, this will secure it if I put a couple of screws in through the side. Oh yeah. Well, there we go. Like that. I thought it would be good at this point just to catch up with what I'm intending to do and where I am with this new trunking, the new IT cabinet and the light switch thing. So excuse this for being handheld, but let me try and explain. First up, the IT cabinet. That's got a server. Well, it's a disk station for Synology, and it's got some legacy stuff and family pictures and all sorts of stuff on it. Alarm system, even the CCTV system, Wi-Fi access point, and a switch. So that's currently all that's going in there. But this is actually a 19-inch rack. So if in the future I need to put something in here that's rack mounted, I can actually put rack ears in and screw stuff straight in. So it is actually a standard size for a 19-inch rack. In fact, you can see from this Zaxel switch that is pretty much there. So moving on, I have put some holes in the top to get cables in and out. I may have a problem with heat in this thing, so I may have to actually put some holes in the very top and put some ventilation holes in the bottom. That's in the future. My power coming in and going out and my earth stake all go through there, and so I will eventually box that in once I've got that far. Over here, this is the cabinet for the lighting and turn all sorts of bits and pieces off, on and off from in here. So that's underway. I've got a load of connection bus bars, DIN rail mounted. There's another packet of those should I need them. There's some earth strips, and these I'll just I'll try and do this one-handed. This lighting system is going to be controlled by these little son-off switches, and they're designed to fit. Yeah, so you can see it. Designed to fit in your behind a light switch in the the box. So what I've been doing is printing off these adapters that make them so they fit onto a DIN rail. So you'll have to take my word for it. It's tricky to do one-handed, but yeah, that fits on there. And I changed the design. This is a published design, but I've added some. I don't know if you can see this particularly well, but I'll just refocused a bit. There's some upstands so that once they're nested together on a DIN rail, you don't press that button. That little button there will put this thing into pairing mode, so it'll be looking for a Wi-Fi signal. So they can be butted up against each other now on a DIN rail, and won't actually false trigger. So that's there's 12 of those. That's taken nearly 40 hours to print those. I have a start and a stop switch. That's going to turn the power on via a contactor to the workshop, and that will turn it off. It's also going via one of these, so that you can, if you get a problem, and I do this because I have had a problem in the past, my table saw, you probably can't see that, but my thumb's a little bit of a funny shape because my table saw put me in a hospital. I had a piece of wood kicked back. I ran indoors with blood pouring out of my thumb and was unable to turn anything off. But with this, you can, in theory, shout, "Hey, Siri, Google, whatever, turn the workshop power off." This will then turn the power off via the contactor to the whole workshop, which I think is a safe way to do it. I've got floodlight. There are the switches, the push switches to operate these little son-off devices. Let's move this piece of cable. I've been buying cable that is going out of fashion. I have electrical conduit connectors, flexible conduit, two of these, which are really cheap and probably nasty, but we'll see. They are air-in, regulator and an oiler for power tools, air tools. I've got all sorts of bits and pieces. I've got some adaptable boxes, some more trunking. That trunking is in the top there. You probably can't see that particularly well. There we go. All of my IT and CCTV cable, internet cables, etc., all are going to run in through this sort of pipe, which is actually waste pipe. But as long as it's separated from the mains, that's acceptable in the UK. So what I've been doing is putting boxes out and stuff where I'm going to fit it. So that is going to go there by the front door, by the double doors, so that I can use spray gun and power tools, air tools outside. This double box, I like the metal ones because the metal ones are that much stronger. If you bash these with a bit of a tool or a bit of metal, you won't break them. That is going to go right down underneath here at the floor level. This is hollow, so I can get a cable. You can probably see that. Get a cable down the back for that. Going along the main bench, this one is going to be mounted in the middle here somewhere, along with an IT connection point and two sockets. Also, there'll be a mushroom stop switch, which I haven't got here at the moment. That's in the old workshop. I haven't dismantled those yet. Moving along to the other end of the workbench, we have obviously the lighting arrangement. And on here, another double IT outlet and a double socket. Moving around the corner, this is my old industrial laser cutter. That's going to have a fixed outlet on the wall here somewhere with a flexible conduit out to the connection here. So that should run that. Moving along to where my desk is at the moment. Excuse the tripod. Right, my desk I think will eventually be smaller, and that optical comparator is too big to be perfect. I really ought to find something smaller. Oh, excuse me. So to run my new desk, when I eventually get that far, there's a double socket and a double IT outlet, which will again go on the wall here somewhere. Haven't decided exactly where. Moving round, this, let me back up. This area in the corner here is full of crap at the moment. That will, let me just refocus you. There you go. This will all go. The whole lot is going into storage or being moved somewhere else. The boxes will remain, these boxes on the bottom here, for the time being, because I can't think what I can do with them to get rid of the stuff that's in them. But eventually, this is where more machinery is going to be. So I've got to bring my mill, my CNC mill down, and that's going to stand pretty much here. So I've got a double socket to go on the wall over here somewhere to do that. The main bench, the machine bench if you like, I have come to the conclusion the only thing I think I'm going to bolt down is this, the drill, because that's something you really want to bolt down. Everything else I'm going to leave and just put them away when I don't need them, get them out when I do need them, so that I've got, if I need to, I can strip all of the stuff off this bench and I've got quite a big bench to work on. I think that's quite a useful thing to do, with one exception. I need power, so I've got 6 outlets at the moment. I may make that 8, I don't know at the moment. 6 is just enough. Anyway, the simpler solution would be just screw them to the desk like that. However, they're going to fill up with crap, so they really need to go vertically. So I need to make a little box or something to attach to the bench that sits sits there. Also, right under the middle here is the duct for that goes all the way through the desk to the dust extractor over the corner there. So yeah, there's a bit more work to do on this bench. Here is a fixed outlet which will have flexible conduit that will go to the lathe, which is going to be here once I finally get it down here. Moving around a little bit further, the Mitre saw that has proved to be bloody excellent so far. However, it needs a proper hood to get the dust out of it, so that all the dust goes down the dust port down here, and it needs a power source. So there's a single socket there. There's a single socket here, because this is where I think I'm going to leave the scroll saw. That's alarm bits and pieces, we won't worry about that. Over here is the dust extractor. Now, the dust extractor has a single socket that's going to be on the wall here to drive it, and that will be controlled hopefully via one of those son-off devices. I don't know yet. I'm in two minds about that. And I may actually change that from a single to a double, because I think it would be useful to have as a double. Or the other thing I'm considering is, if I just back up a bit, the other thing I'm considering is possibly on this side fitting a 16 amp outlet, and if I do that I need to beef up the cable, so I'd need to put a bigger cable into the consumer unit. That would allow me to plug in a bigger welder should I ever get to the position of needing a bigger welder, and also I like the 16 amp Legrand waterproof connectors for use outside. So I'd like to replace this saw with a smaller but wooden one. Basically, I think what I'm going to do is take the actual guts off this one. This whole tilting and up and down arrangement is only held on with 6 screws. So you could take the whole thing out, put it in a nice wooden box with wheels on the bottom, so I can wheel it about. I think that makes a lot more sense. Right, and finally, just back to this end. My lens is fogging up. It's a funny day here. We keep getting sleet. Anyway, I've got left over from when we had a little factory unit. I've got an industrial metal cabinet for things like paint and thinners and that sort of stuff. And that is going to sit here. It's 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide, which takes it to there. And above that, over here, is going to be the consumer unit or consumer units. I may end up needing 2. Yeah, apologies for the lens, it fogged up. I've cleaned it now, so as you can see. So I think the first thing for me to do is to make, for this desk, make a little stand for these main sockets. So I'll do that today, and then that'll be as far as I get, I suspect. Well, thanks for sticking around to the end. It's very good of you. Please hit the bell and subscribe banner, and we will see you on the next one, hopefully. As a quick aside, the last video I made, I put an underbed of music on it, and that was, I think I got it wrong. I think there was too much. It was too loud, basically, so it overpowered the Atmos. However, I do have to put a little bit of music on some shots. This GoPro I do time lapses with, and there's no audio at all on a time lapse, so consequently a little bit of audio bubbling underneath that actually lifts it. But I'd be intrigued to see what you think. There's very little audio in this apart from, I think, probably a 30-second piece, if that, that's under a time lapse. So let me know what you think, and we can tailor the videos to what people prefer to watch. So yeah, do let me know, and look after yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.